Have you ever been down to Mississippi? You know, that state at the southern end of the United States, a state that has a pretty disreputable reputation? Well, that negative reputation was consecrated further recently because they have passed the most anti-abortion legislation in the United States. No abortion after 15 weeks. No exemption for rape, no exemption for incest, no exemption for the life or health of the woman. Of course, the fact of the matter is that the legislation in Mississippi is being held up for a moment in the courts, but it was passed by the government. It doesn't begin to approximate the legislation that is in prospect in Ohio, where they want to ban abortion completely. And no exemption for rape, no exemption for incest, no exemption for the life or health of the woman. As a matter of fact, the Ohio legislation has within it a possible reference to the criminal code, so that if you are a provider of an abortion or you're a woman who has had an abortion, you can be criminally charged. In the case of a woman, you can be charged with murder. You think that's hyperbole? That was included in a fascinating editorial in the New York Times. And then there's Iowa. In Iowa, they have legislation in prospect that says no abortion after 6 weeks, when some women don't even know they're pregnant. And with a kind of savage irony, it's called the Heartbeat Bill. Do you know that in 89% of the counties in Iowa, there is no abortion clinic? And then there's Don Lipinski, I guess his name is, in Illinois. He has been reaffirmed in the Democratic primary as the candidate in November in the next elections. He's been in Congress for quite a while, and on 52 separate occasions, he's a Democrat. On 52 separate occasions, he's voted for restrictions on abortion and, of course, to unfund Planned Parenthood. And then there's Mike Pence, the Vice President of the United States, who said that this is the last generation where abortion will be legal in the United States. And he, when he was governor of Indiana, voted for restrictions wherever possible on the sexual and reproductive services for women. And you know, this misogyny has seeped into the bureaucratic structure of the United States. So you have something called the Office of Refugee Resettlement, where there are a great many undocumented immigrant women, and the head of the office has made it clear that if any woman is pregnant and seeks an abortion, he will do everything in his power to stop it. And then there's Health and Human Services, the huge division of Health and Human Services, where there is a regulation in prospect that says that whether you're a provider or even an insurance plan, you can refuse to have anything to do with abortion on religious principles. And of course, the Senate recently almost passed a ban on abortion after 20 weeks. So this is a very serious situation, and there are two huge implications. One is international, where you have the gag rule imposed by Trump and says effectively that if you're a community-based organization on the ground, if you're grassroots in Africa and you've been receiving money from the United States, if you even whisper the word abortion, if you refer anyone else somewhere else for abortion, then you lose every penny of funding that was coming your way. And the objective internally in the US, of course, is to overthrow Roe versus Wade, the Supreme Court decision of 45 years ago, which made abortion legal in the United States. And the hope is that these challenges, these berserk pieces of legislation in the various states, will end up at the Supreme Court, where, because of the new appointments by Trump, it will be weighted in favor of overturning Roe versus Wade conclusively. You talk about a war on women, it's being waged in the United States. That was last week. I'm Stephen Lewis.